Hi guys, and welcome again to this channel. Today we will be talking about building a great relationship with your child, and I would also be giving you 10 tips on how to establish close relationships with your child. This was taught to me by by my mentor. So, do you want to be a great parent? Do you want to raise a happy, healthy, well-behaved kid? Do you want to live in a home where discipline becomes kind of unnecessary? I mean, the secret is to actually create a closer connection with your child. It isn't enough that we tell our children that we love them. We need to put our love into action every day for them to actually feel it. So I'll begin with tip number one. So tip one would be to listen. You always have to listen. If possible, you pause all activities when your child wants to talk to you. Your child really should feel that he or she can talk to you at any point in time. Otherwise, they would actually think that you do not care, about them much. So I mean, when they're talking to you, you sort of silence your phone or you shut off the TV. Don't zone them out in order to prepare your response. Truly listen to your child and try to understand their message. Turn to face them, make eye contact, use open body language, listen without judgment or any sort of negative facial expressions. Let them know that how important they are to you, and that you want to hear what they actually came to you for, or to you with. Let the child talk about how they feel. For instance, if your daughter says, all the girls at school are going to camp out next weekend, but we have to go to this stupid wedding, you know so rather than having to scream or shout, you might say something like, it sounds like you're frustrated because you can't attend the camp out. So that sounds better rather than having to scream. So we have to remember that everyday communication about simple matters, makes it easy to sort of discuss more complex issues in the future. So tip two would be avoid speaking out of anger and frustration. Children, they tend to learn to listen to you when you speak to them calmly. Trustful and respectful relationships are only formed when based on honesty and sincerity. If at any point there is a chance of your emotions flaring up, you probably have to postpone that conversation. Tip three would be to remember there is strength in the ability to give a choice. In communication with your child, try to make them make their own choice. Let them know that by talking to you, you are communicating with him, instead of endlessly having to preach or having only your opinions heard. Because communication is a two-way process and it's not a struggle for power. So parents, don't provoke your children to anger, or else they will be discouraged. Tip four would be a source of inspiration and support. Be a source of inspiration and support. When a child comes to you with his or her everyday problems, or maybe a specific situation, be ready to listen to them. You console them, and you encourage them with the right words. And if they trust you, they would feel more liberated and inspired, instead of guilt or disappointment. Teach them to always remember that every problem has a solution, and in time of the need, you tell them that you're with them, that you're ready to help them, that you also went through the same kind of situation, and that you understand how they feel. So I mean, for instance, if maybe you were bullied in school, you share that with your child, and explain how you got through it. With that, they will look at you as being strong and invincible. because of how you overcame bullying. Tip five would be, to leave your comfort zone. Leave your comfort zone and give it to your child. Try to put yourself in your child's place. This will allow you to fully realize all that your child is experiencing and having to deal with. Think about how difficult it is for a child, to have a conversation with you. Be wary of their reactions. Tip six would be judge the action, not the individual. Judge the action, not the individual. In our world, nothing is more valuable than a person, his personality. Each of us has the right to make mistake, and no one has the right to condemn anyone else for this. We are all humans. We make mistakes. So we need. We can analyze the actions of a person along with the cause and the consequences of those actions, but humiliating that person is unacceptable. Tip seven, be the initiator. You have to identify something that interests or worries your child before he or she comes to you. This would strengthen your relationships because the child will constantly feel your concern. Tip eight would be to find time for unusual pastimes. Usually, parents have sort of like a fixed and busy sort of schedule and activities that the children love very much. Often outside of this schedule, they do not have time for any other sort of needs. Sometimes you should sort of plan activities that seem spontaneous to your child. Maybe you could do their homework in the park, travel somewhere together, and just productively having a good time with your family. Remember that your children are still children, and they would be immeasurably glad that you are so involved, like fully involved in communicating with them. Tip nine is ask for forgiveness if you make a mistake. This one in particular, is the one that parents mostly get wrong all the time and must work on. Everyone has the right to make mistakes, and not only children. But sometimes, it's we parents that actually get it wrong. So do not hesitate to ask your child for forgiveness. It will not demean you. Rather, on the contrary, it will show that you cherish your relationships. And finally, tip 10, just simply love. Show your child love, the same way as when they were babies. Let them feel that there's no better time for you than the time spent with them. So in order for your communication to stimulate a friendly and intimate relationship, it is necessary that it takes place in a comfortable environment in which the child can share his or her feelings, their thoughts, their ideas. So just to round up, the relationship between a parent and a child is among the most significant in a person's life. As one of the earliest connections a child has, the parental relationship sets the bar for everyone after. So, positive parent-child bonds fosters autonomy, curiosity, self-esteem, and better decision-making skills. So, improve your relationship with your child by getting involved with their lives and building, stronger communication. Also, learn how to adapt your parent-child relationship with time. So I believe that following these tips might help your family as effectively as they helped mine. So guys, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And till we